Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, chapter 9, text number 44. Ato isha jaitvashtam grasantam bonatrayam grasthani yena Krishna tejamsi yatra yudhani cha. Translation and purport by Divine Gazesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Therefore, O Lord, O Supreme Controller, O Lord Krishna, please annihilate this dangerous demon, Vritrasura, Tvashta's son, who has already swallowed all our weapons, our paraphernalia for fighting, and our strength and influence. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita 7.15 and 16, Namam dishkritino muda prapaddante naradama maya partajnana asurambam ashrita chaturoda bhajante mam jana sukrituno arjuna artho jignasu arthati jnanina bhartashava. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. O best among the Bharatas, Arjuna, 4 kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me: the distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and he who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. The 4 classes of neophyte devotees who approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead to offer devotional service because of material motives are not pure devotees. But the advantage for such materialistic devotee is that they sometimes give up their material desire and become pure. When the demigods are utterly helpless, they approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead in grief and with tears in their eyes, praying to the Lord, and thus they become almost pure devotees, free from material desires. Admitting that they have forgotten pure devotional service because of extensive material opportunities, they fully surrender to the Lord, leaving to His consideration whether to maintain them or annihilate them. Such surrender is necessary. Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Marabi Rakhabi Ye Chetohara. O Lord, I fully surrender unto you, and I fully surrender unto your lotus feet. Now, as you desire, you may protect me or annihilate me. You have the full right to do either. So, in this chapter, we have been reading how after the appearance of Vritrasura, whole universe was full of fear and they were afraid. In the summary itself it is mentioned, Vritrasura's fierce features made the whole world afraid, and his personal effulgence diminished the power of demigod. So, in these verses we have been reading the prayers of the demigod, because they were all full of tense, full of anxieties, and they are left with no other option. They always approach Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. So in today's prayer, they are saying, therefore, O Lord, O Supreme Controller, O Lord Krishna, please annihilate the dangerous demon Vritrasura, Tvashta's son, who has already swallowed all our weapons, because the fierce battle was happening. So this demon has swallowed all their weapons. Our paraphernalia for fighting, so they are left with nothing. And our strength and influence. So, Prabhupada begins this purport also, quoting the famous verse from the Bhagavad Gita 7.15 and 16. 4 types of people we know, 4 types of people who don't surrender to Lord, 7.15. Namam dushkritano muda prapadante naradama mayaya apartagyana asuram bhavamashita. Because they have this demonic mentality. So who are these? Muda, foolish people. Naradama, lowest of mankind. Maya apartagyana. They are all very intelligent, but their knowledge is taken away by Maya or illusion. And asuram bhavamashita. And they have this tendency. And next verse, immediately Krishna says, because the 7th chapter, middle 7th chapter, 7 to 12, is actually speaking about devotional service, pure devotional service also, 7, 8, 9, all up to 12. So, 4 types of people surrender to him. Krishna says, Chaturvida bhajantima, Jana Sukritina Arjuna. Sukritina, and in the first verse we saw, it's actually Duskritino. So Sukritina means pious being, pious living entities. So who are these? Artha, distress. Artharthi, who are desiring wealth or material gain. Jignasu, who are inquisitive. And 4th one is Jnani, who are searching for the absolute truth. So, these 4 types of people, they are called as Sukriti and pious living entity. They will approach Krishna. They will approach God. So, in the purport also Prabhupada writes, Sukriti means, pious people means, they will not commit sinful activities. So, that's why you see in ISKCON, based on the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada has introduced these 4 principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit connection. So, these are the pillars of Dharma. And if somebody is breaking this, then it's very difficult for them to take to Krishna consciousness or God consciousness. So, because if you commit sin, because we are all sinful, that's why we are in this world. Our first sin was, we are turned away from Lord. He is our supreme master. We were in the spiritual world. But Lord has given that little independence. We misuse that independence. And we have come to this world. We are turned away from Lord. So Lord, out of His kindness, out of His compassion, He makes an arrangement. He comes personally according to the scheduled incarnation. Or He sends His representative to reclaim the fallen, conditioned soul. So Krishna's instruction in the Bhagavad Gita is inviting us, why you are all suffering here, please come to my abode. Correct? Many verses Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. So, because in the 7th chapter also, same 7th chapter, Krishna says, Esham tu antagata papa, janana punya karmana, te danda moha nirmukta, bhajante ma dridhavata. Esham tu antagata papam. Those who have exact word, Prabhupada nicely uses, correct? All his translation. Persons who have acted piously, see here also, because Esham tu antagata janana punya karmana. Punya, pious. Persons who acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated or freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage in themselves in my service with determination. So, sinful person, it's difficult for them to take to Krishna consciousness. Though, when we go and preach to any people like that, in fact, all of us have these sinful tendencies also. So if somebody is little sincere, some spark is there, if they take to this process, slowly all this sin will go away. Sinful reaction, what is there. Just like when Prabhupada went to America in the early days, they're all into all sort of illicit activity, all these 4 regulative principles they are breaking. Prabhupada just made them chant Hare Krishna, hear from Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Actually, what happens when we hear and when we read and when we chant, actually we get little by little purified. That's why you see our morning program, all these elements are there. So they all immediately, within no time actually, Prabhupada first didn't introduce this for regulative principle. He just made them chant and hear these classes. Because when they're hearing pure devotee, automatically the transformation will happen. That's what happened there. So, this is very important because we conditioned soul, conditioned living entity, we are always looking for eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maituna. So Shastra says we should slowly try to control all these things. Like we read from the teachings of the 6 Goswamis. They totally gave up. Hardly they were indulging in these things, correct? They are sleeping for 2 hours. Sometimes 1.5 hours, like that Prabhupada says. Sometimes not even that. We can't imitate them. At least we should have that goal. Slowly we should try to cut down our eating, sleeping. Everybody requires different this thing. Number of hours sleep and all. Slowly we have to plan, organize, take guidance. We should reduce also. Because human form of life is meant for some higher purpose. So, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, we have to reduce. So, in the purport, Prabhupada writes here, the 4 classes of neophyte devotees who approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead to offer devotional service because of material motives are not pure devotees. So, yesterday also we heard in the class, correct? Madhu Pandit Prabhu's class. We are not doing what we are doing? Service. We are not doing devotional service. Because devotional service, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Na Soshatim Samasarveshu Bhuteshu. Brahman platform, spiritual platform means our devotional service begins. And by accepting the process given by Srila Prabhupada, so Prabhupada wanted all of us to become pure devotees. Prabhupada's goal was like that. He says, correct? So, when we take to this process, all the anarthas, unwanted things we have, all these material desires, slowly it will go away actually. So, that's why 4 types of people come to Krishna. Artho, one who is in distress. So, you come with a distress. Sometimes when people come to a temple also, some of them will fall in this category actually. They will be distressed. When we speak in the Gita counter or when we just interact, we can make out actually. Sometimes they will also pour out, they will mention there what they are going through, all these things. But the fact is, everybody is in distress in this material world. That we should be convinced. Because Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, this material world is designed in such a way, it is dukhalayam and ashashvatam. It is full of miseries. So if somebody is thinking that I can mitigate my miseries, I will be happy, that is actually false, that is not correct. Just like Prabhupada gives the example, when we fall sick, we go to a doctor, we take medicine. Sometimes you have best of a medicine, best of a doctor, physician, still patient dies. So it is the mercy of Guru and Krishna. How long we are going to live, nobody knows. So, this distress, even a person who comes to temple, try to chant, when he is in this condition, slowly, Prabhupada, then he writes, but the advantage of such materialistic devotees is that they sometimes give up the material desire and become pure. Very many examples are there in the scriptures. Very typical example is of Dhruva Maharaj. We all know the story of Dhruva Maharaj. His stepmother insulted him. He was a 5-year-old boy, Kshatriya, prince. And he could not tolerate that. Because Prabhupada explains in those purports, Kshatriyas are very determined. Heavy determination they have. Then he went to his mother, what is this? I was sitting on the lap of father and that other mother, stepmother, elder, she was the younger wife's son actually, Dhruva Maharaj. You can't sit on the lap. He got insulted. And he told this to mother. Mother told what to do. Your father is attached to that wife more. Then immediately he said, no, I want to have a bigger kingdom than his father. How I can get? She is a simple woman. She said, I heard that sages, saints, they go to forest for meditation. God is there in the forest, jungle, 5-year-old boy. So he sets, he want to go to forest to have darshan of the Lord. Lord, who is seated in his heart as Paramatma, through Narada, he sends him there. So Narada tried to give some instruction. He says, if you can show me God or where is God, you speak, otherwise you get away from my path. Prabhupada in a lecture, he says, I don't want to hear instruction. Then Narada Muni also saw, he was very determined. So he gave the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So young boy, 5-year-old boy, he can be swallowed by any small animal actually. Small, correct? But he was thinking of Lord and he was just chanting this mantra, and we all know within 6 months he had darshan of Lord Vishnu face to face. Which it is said, even the great sages, saints, yogis, meditators, they can't have darshan of Lord easily. But here a 5-year-old boy have darshan of Lord Vishnu. So then Lord was also very, when he saw this Dhruva's, this thing, determination, he wanted to offer him some benediction. So he asked him, what benediction you want, my dear? So we all chant that verse also, Sukadeva Goswami's prayer, in that it is included from the Upanishad. Sthana Bilashi Tapati Sitoham. So I wanted a bigger kingdom than my father. Now that I have gotten you, just like I was looking for a piece of glasses, now I got the most valuable jewel. My dear Lord, I don't want anything. See, he went with this desire to have a bigger kingdom than his father. By chanting Lord's name, by following Guru's, Narada happened to be his spiritual master later. So he became a pure devotee. So we go with any of these reasons to Krishna. We should go to Krishna only. See, here we can see from that's why the demigod worship is condemned in the Bhagavad Gita. Is very clear. Because demigods themselves, they are offering prayer to Lord Vishnu. They know they themselves can't solve the problem. Only Vishnu or Krishna can solve the problem. So, like that, if you see, there are many examples. Dhruva Maharaj is one thing. That's why Bhagavatam also says, Akama sarva kamaha moksha kama udaridi tivrena bhakti yogena ejeta purushaparam. Akama. Akama means no material desire, pure devotional service. Or sarvakama, full of desires, material desires, like we all are full of material desires. Though we are in practicing devotional service, a lot of material desires are there. Because it is carried on from the previous lives. No problem. Akama, sarvak. Or somebody wants moksha, liberation. They want to get away from these material miseries, material existence. Moksha kama. Akama sarva kama moksha kama. Tivrena bhakti yogena. With force, with determination, we have to render devotional service. Ejeta Purusha Param. He is the Supreme Person. So, if somebody worships Krishna like this, with strong determination, even if you have all these things, material desire, or you want liberation, actually you will achieve the highest. So Prabhupada, because definition of pure devotional service is because Prabhupada is touching that point also here in the purport. When the demigods are utterly helpless, they approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead in grief and with tears in their eyes praying to the Lord. And thus they become almost pure devotees, Prabhupada writes, free from material desires. And then they, admitting that they have forgotten pure devotional service because of extensive material opportunity, They fully surrendered to the Lord, leaving to his consideration whether to maintain them or annihilate them. Because Devatas, they have a lot of material enjoyment in the heavenly kingdom. So there are chances they will forget Lord. That's what they are also called Kama Bhaktas. They have little, some desire is there, material desire is there. They are not pure devotees. But when they are in distress, they are offering these prayers. See all the wonderful prayers they are offering. They know the Supreme Lord's position. When they offer these prayers, they become almost pure devotees, free from material. That's why offering prayers, chanting slokas, all these things are very important actually. So much contamination we are within ourselves. So it will help us actually. That's why Shravanam, Kirtam, this Navavida Bhakti, what is introduced, is very important. Prahlad Maharaj says, correct? So, then Prabhupada quote this famous, this thing. So, surrender, already in two statements, Prabhupada uses the word surrender here. They surrender to the Lord, leaving to his consideration. Such surrender is necessary. So, surrender is very important. That's why Krishna also says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Rajam. And in this song of Bhaktivedanta Thakur also, Marabi Rakaubi Ya Icha Tohara. O Lord, I fully surrender unto your lotus feet. Now as you desire, you may protect me or annihilate me. You have the full right to do either. So when we go to Lord, we actually offer prayer, we just surrender. Even when we are doing some service and all, sometimes we may be attached to some service, we may go and pray regarding that service. Not required, Lord knows everything actually. That's why whenever we pray, when we are not offering prayers of these all exalted devotees, like Kunti Maharani, Sukadeva Goswami, all these things, Dhruva Maharaj, we should always add that Prabhupada taught us, correct? Lord, if you so desire, we should put. Because we can't go like he is not an order supplier, Prabhupada says, correct? Krishna is not an order supplier. You want this, he gives. No, it's not like that. Lord, if you so desire, if it is beneficial for my devotional service, like that we should offer prayer. So, in this case of Jadabharata also, in the 5th canto, it is elaborately mentioned, correct? Jadabharata, Bharat Maharaj fell down. In next life, he acted as a Jadabharata. He was FT, dumb, deaf. He acted like that because he didn't want to, he realized his mistake. Prabhupada explained there also, he had reached the Bhava stage. Rupa Goswami lists out, correct? 9 steps to reach prema, love of God. Ado Shraddha, Tada Sadhu Sangata, Bhajana Kriya. He has reached the prema stage, Bhava stage. Bhava is actually preliminary to love of God, as Prabhupada explained. So technically, nobody will fall from that stage. But still, these are all pastime of the Lord. So, Jadabharata, he fell down, he got attracted to a deer, and we know that full pastime. So when Jadabharata was in the next life, he was like a Jadabharata. So this servant of this, their leader, he thought he's a good guy. So hefty and looking so hefty, they can offer to deity Kali. Correct? Because this that sort of rogues and all, they have manufactured their own, Prabhupada in those purports also he writes, they manufacture their own way of worship. Animalistic or something, Prabhupada uses the word. So he was taken and he was so strong, the verses say, he could have easily defeated those people actually. But he acted like as if he's mad, he's deaf, dumb. And he was taken to the deity of Kali. And because there is a procedure, in the lower, people who are in the lower modes, they offer these things actually. Like animal killing also is done by Shudras. Prabhupada explains, correct? And they were taking a Jadabharata to offer it to deity. Kali. Kali knows he is a pure devotee. She became infuriated. And immediately she attacked all this and they all ran away. Elaborately it is mentioned. So, there also what he did, Jadabharat, he just surrendered to Lord. You Lord, he surrendered. If you wish, you can protect me. If they kill, let them kill. Because we know he is speaking very high philosophy about self-realization actually, Jadabharat there, when he was carrying that king and all. So that is the advantage. So the whole thing is we have to surrender to the Lord and we have to always expect Lord's protection. What are basic things we have to do from our side we should do. But we should always depend on the protection of the Lord. Because Lord is the only protector. Lord is only the maintainer. So this is nicely brought in that Jadabharat pastime also. And then similarly in case of this Bali Maharaj, if you see, we all know the Bali Maharaj, very famous all these things. So Bali Maharaj offered this piece of land, 3 steps of land, correct, to Lord. So his spiritual master knew, who was his spiritual master? Shukracharya. He was not the real spiritual master in the sense he is coming from the seminal spiritual master, Prabhupada explained. So, spiritual master knew, Shukracharya knew that is Lord Vishnu, he is tricking. And he is going to give 3 steps. And we know first 2 steps he covered all the earthly this thing and in the space. 3rd step, when Lord asked, Lord, he said, please keep on my head. So Bali Maharaj is also celebrated, he is also a Mahajana. So in this pastime also, actually Prabhupada explained that we should never be misguided by anyone. So bona fide spiritual master who is coming in the parampara will not misguide. Because Bali Maharaj's point was also, you only taught me everything we should offer it to Lord Vishnu. And now Lord Vishnu is coming and asking, I am offering, you are telling you should not offer, what is this? So I don't care for you. He rejected actually Shukracharya. So Prabhupada in those purport also he writes, surrender means we should be prepared to abide by the order of the Lord and spiritual master under all circumstances. Not that sometime you abide, sometime you don't follow Guru's instruction. It's not like that. A disciple, our discipline should be to always follow the instruction given by the spiritual master, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. So otherwise we will actually get into trouble. So here we see the nice, these are few points in this verse, how these devatas, they clearly know that Lord Vishnu or Krishna, he can only solve their problem, what they are facing now. Again and again we come in the scriptures, correct? There is a fight between demon and devotee, demigod. Sometimes demigod wins, sometimes demons win. So whenever demigod they are in difficulty, they approach Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu definitely protect them. We'll see further how Lord will give them the solution. They'll follow that and they will be freed from this asura, vritasura. These are few points. Actually we are running out of time. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki